Did you know that the sport of lacrosse originated in the 1400s? Wow, that seems like a long time ago. I'm sure that many of you have heard of the game of lacrosse. Maybe some of you don't know exactly what all the rules are, or how it originated, how it came about, or how it became so popular within the past few years. Lacrosse is something that I am passionate about, and it's hard to believe that it recently just became popular within the past decade. Thinking back, many of us maybe even had ancestors that played lacrosse when it first came about back in the 1400s. I have played lacrosse since I was in middle school and is something that I really enjoy doing in my free time. I'm not on a team anymore, but I still like to go outside and play catch or go to the park and shoot at a net for a while if I want to get outside. After researching the history of lacrosse, I have found many interesting facts that I didn't even know before that I think you guys might enjoy. First, I will describe how lacrosse first came about back in the 1400s. Second, I will examine the equipment used in the game of lacrosse. And third, I will discuss modern day lacrosse and how much the sport has changed over time. Lacrosse originated from Native American Indian tribe in the St. Louis Valley area. Soon after that, it was followed by many other tribes. It was starting to become a trend, and it was something that everyone wanted to be a part of. It was a fun game, and everyone wanted to play. They had many players. As the amount of players grew, so did the sports. The events became more than just small games, and they lasted even days on end. They had tournaments that would last 3 to 4 days at a time, with no out-of-bounds areas. According to worldlacrosse.sport website, the sport was originally known as stickball during this time when it became popular. After becoming more and more popular, the sport then moved towards the Great Lakes. The equipment used for lacrosse consists of a lacrosse stick, a ball, and a net to shoot at. Lacrosse sticks first originated as simple 3-foot sticks. They would find these and they would shave them and shape them down in order to fit their needs to play the game. They needed a net at the top of their stick in the triangle, which they also had to create themselves. They used deerskin for this. The triangle net at the end of the stick is also referred to as a pouch. That is where the ball is caught and where you throw the ball. Back then, the balls were also made of deerskin, although today they are now made of rubber. uslacrosse.org describes the equipment as a 2.5-foot stick that is held in each hand, and the soft, small deerskin ball is retrieved and cupped between them. As I stated earlier, the sticks are about 3 feet long, including the net and the triangle at the end. Lacrosse as we see it today is a lot different than as it first started out as. Today, there are a lot fewer of players on the field. As I mentioned earlier, when they had big tournaments, there were over 100 people. About 100 people were the minimum amount that they had to play, and there were no out of bounds. They would go on for miles and miles playing the game of lacrosse. Today, the games only last 60 minutes. There are 4 15-minute intervals, or quarters, and there are breaks in between. The field is also a lot smaller. As I mentioned, now it's a football field rather than miles and miles of playing fields. They didn't even have out of bounds earlier. Today, if you watch a lacrosse game, the out of bounds will be once the ball exceeds the length of the football field. We have seen a lot of change in the sport since it first came about. The sport of lacrosse originated in the 1400s in a time when there wasn't much of anything to do. The equipment used for lacrosse was made by hand back then, and it amazes me that sometimes the net are still strung by hand, although they are not from deerskin. They are netting that we just purchased from the store now. We have seen multiple ways how the sport of lacrosse has changed over time. As it started out in the 1400s, it's something that is becoming more and more popular each and every day. So next time you're bored and want to go outside and do something fun, maybe think about getting a lacrosse stick and grab a friend and go play catch, and you can feel as if they did in the 1400s when they first started playing lacrosse.